The Explore the Tropics event is in full swing now at Whole Foods Market. It's a celebration of tropical fruits throughout the store, starting with great deals on fresh, juicy seasonal produce. There's a new melty tropical heat pizza only at Whole Foods Market through March. And that famous mango yuzu chantilly cake is finally back in the bakery department. You'll also find tempting tropical marinated proteins in their meat and seafood departments. Explore the tropics today at Whole Foods Market.
This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 2089, Staying Fit Right Down to the Bone by Niki Bezzant of lessmills.com. And I'm Dr. Neil, your host and narrator. Welcome back to another episode of Optimal Health Daily. This is where I read to you from some of the best health and fitness blogs on the web, kind of like an ongoing audiobook, and always with a bit of my commentary at the end. And now, let's get right to the post for today as we optimize your life. Staying Fit Right Down to the Bone by Niki Bezzant of lessmills.com. When it comes to long-term health and wellness, it pays to remember what it all hangs on, literally. Here's what you need to know about the role calcium plays in looking after your inner self. How often do you think about your bones? When we exercise, unless we're injured, we tend not to give our skeleton a thought. And yet, by working out and by eating well, we're making a big difference as to how our bones will function as we get older. A really important dietary element of this is calcium. It is essential for our bodies. It builds and maintains bones, and also enables the blood to clot, the muscles to contract, and helps regulate blood pressure. 99% of the body's calcium is stored in our bones and teeth. The rest can be found circulating in the body, where it plays those important roles in heart health, muscle contraction, and blood clotting. If we don't get enough calcium, the body compensates by maintaining circulating levels of calcium at the expense of our bones. Our clever system will basically steal calcium from bones to keep everything else going. This is one of the main reasons why older individuals are at higher risk of fractures. It's because of calcium depletion over time. Around the world, osteoporosis, meaning when the bones become porous and are prone to fracture, is estimated to affect 200 million women, approximately 10% of women age 60, 1 in 5 women age 70, 2 in 5 women aged 80, and 2/3 of women aged 90, according to the International Osteoporosis Foundation. It says 1 in 3 women over 50 and 1 in 5 men will experience an osteoporotic fracture. So, how do we avoid being one of those statistics? We build our bones calcium stores when we're young, up until our mid-20s, when we reach what's known as peak bone mass. The higher our bone mass, the less likely we'll have a fracture later in life. As we get older, though, it's important to keep our bone mass as high as possible. We do that in several ways. First, by eating calcium-rich foods. That means, ideally, dairy products, which are one of the best sources of calcium. Getting a couple of servings, at least, of milk, cheese, and yogurt each day is a great start. Calcium can also be found in sesame seeds, nuts, shrimp, sardines, and dark green vegetables, but it's important to note these are not as rich in calcium as dairy foods. We need to eat more of these to get the same amount of calcium. The trend away from dairy milk towards nut milks and other alternatives may not be ideal for our bones. If you're choosing to use an alternative milk, read the label and make sure it's got added calcium, ideally in excess of 200 milligrams per serving. The recommendations for ideal calcium intakes around the world do vary somewhat, but it's around 1,000 milligrams for adults per day, with higher levels needed for those 51 years of age or older. Vitamin D is another part of the bone health puzzle. Vitamin D plays an important role in helping us absorb the calcium we eat. We tend not to get vitamin D from food unless it's added. Some milks have it, and you might find it in cereal or eggs. We get most of our vitamin D from sun exposure. This requires care since we need to balance sun exposure with the risk of skin cancer. So experts advise getting outside during times of the day when ultraviolet levels or UV levels are lower, not during the middle and hottest part of the day. Exercise is also vital for keeping our bones healthy, and weight training is our friend here. It not only gives us stronger muscles, but also builds bone strength. Just like our muscles, our bones respond to exercise by getting stronger. That means increased bone density in young people, maintained bone density in adults, and slower bone loss in older individuals. Inactivity and sedentary lifestyles are noted risk factors for fractures. Another risk factor is body weight. Regular dieting, weight loss, and low body weight all contribute to weaker bones. Long-term dieting can lead to low intake of important bone-building nutrients, and being underweight means the bones don't have to work so hard, so they can weaken. Lastly, there are a few things to avoid when it comes to bones, and they're the usual suspects. Smoking is bad for bones. It's thought the cadmium in cigarette smoke lowers bone density. Alcohol intake above moderate levels increases risk. In fact, having more than 4 drinks a day doubles the risk of hip fracture. And overtraining can be an issue. Elite athletes who train to the point of amenorrhea, that's where they no longer experience their regular menstrual cycles, are at higher risk of osteoporosis. For our bones then, as with many other aspects of our health, common sense in both food and exercise is a good thing. You just listened to the post titled, Staying Fit, Right Down to the Bone by Niki Bezzant of lesmills.com.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of another sale on Shopify. The moment a business dream becomes reality. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. They simplify selling online and in person and provide 24/7 support so you can focus on successfully growing your business. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/offer22, all lowercase.
The Explore the Tropics event is in full swing now at Whole Foods Market. It's a celebration of tropical fruits throughout the store, starting with great deals on fresh, juicy seasonal produce. There's a new melty tropical heat pizza only at Whole Foods Market through March. And that famous mango yuzu chantilly cake is finally back in the bakery department. You'll also find tempting tropical marinated proteins in their meat and seafood departments. Explore the tropics today at Whole Foods Market.
Dr. Neal here for my commentary. If you're worried that you may not be getting enough calcium and vitamin D, you could think about taking a supplement. I know there has been some controversy about the effectiveness of calcium supplementation and preventing osteoporosis, but the majority of studies do find some benefit, especially if someone isn't getting enough calcium in their diet. So you could definitely talk to your doctor about this. And you could see if they would run a blood test for you that looks at your vitamin D levels. If your levels are low, it may be worthwhile to consider a vitamin D supplement too. If your vitamin D test comes back normal, there may be no need to supplement with vitamin D. Now, if you and your doctor do decide that taking supplemental calcium or vitamin D is right for you, keep in mind that some of the vitamins and minerals you get in pill form may not always be absorbed as well as we hope. For example, calcium is often found in 2 forms when you buy it as a supplement. There's calcium citrate, and then there's calcium carbonate. Now, both are fine, but if you buy the calcium carbonate version, that one tends to be absorbed better when you take it with food. So just be aware of that. And if you take a vitamin D supplement, we're finding vitamin D is best absorbed as a supplement when taken with the largest meal of the day, especially a meal with some form of fat or oil in it. But again, check with your doctor or healthcare provider to be sure that supplementation is right for you. If you get too much calcium, for example, it could become a bad thing. It may lead to an increased risk for kidney stones. All right, that'll do it for today. Thank you so much for being a subscriber or follower of the show. Thank you for sharing it with others. Sharing this show really goes a long way to keeping this podcast going. So I thank you for doing that. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.